Everybody, welcome back from break. This is Speedromizer, where with what you submit is not what you run. Speaking about runs, we have another fantastic run coming up, well, now. Please welcome Wilbun doing a run of Go Vacation Villa %. Wilbun, take it away.
I am on a new save file here. Okay. Okay. Hey everybody, it's Wilbun84. Okay. Hi everybody, it's Wilbun84. This is a run of Go Vacation Villa %, just so we're all seeing, this is a new save file I'm about to start. We're going to choose an avatar real quick. I love boy number 12 because he looks very clueless. And time will start after the first loading screen fades, so not quite yet. After this loading screen fades to black, we can start time. So right about now. All right, so welcome to Go Vacation. If you were thinking that this kind of sounds like a Wii Resort knockoff, you would be correct. This game was published by Bandai Namco in 2011, about 2 years after Wii Resort came out, and it's not necessarily reinventing the wheel or anything. But they are trying to go for a lot more than Wii Resort did here. So it boasts about 50 minigames in total, and also an overworld that you can actually traverse around, which you'll see in a second, between each minigame. So these minigames are activated by traversing and exploring the overworld and then interacting with NPCs that can put you into these minigames. Now, we're not going to be doing all 50 minigames. We're only doing 20. That's Villa %. It's essentially speedrunning how quickly you can become a homeowner on the island. Once we complete 20 minigames, we will unlock a villa that you can explore and decorate and stuff like that. And the keyword is complete here. We don't actually have to perform well in any of these minigames. We don't have to get first, second. We don't have to get a world record. The game does not check for any of that. It doesn't care if you fail. It just checks to see if you completed it at least one time. Each time you complete a minigame, you get a stamp, and after 20 stamps, we get our villa. So we are going to be speedrunning 20 minigames here. The game has 4 resorts in total on the island. This is the Marine Resort. We're then going to head to the City Resort and finally the Snow Resort. We won't be visiting the Mountain Resorts, unfortunately, and completing those 20 minigames. So this is our first one. It's Jet Ski Race, and obviously just by the nature of a race, we are going to perform well here. We're going to get first place, just because we want to finish this as quick as possible. But after the next minigame, that's when we start to try to fail these as quickly as possible. So we're going to finish our jet ski race here. There's various vehicles to traverse in each overworld, in each resort. You can switch those. So in the Marine, we have our jet ski that we can traverse around. We also have like a surfboard and stuff like that. So when we're mapping out and warping to different areas, we'll want to use the vehicle that gets us to the next minigames as fast as possible. So we're going to map for the first time in just a second to our second minigame, which is going to be finding turtles in the ocean. And there is quite a bit of mapping in this game, also quite a bit of mashing through dialogue, as you can see. But I'll talk about mapping a little bit more in the snow resort, just because it's a little more important there and a little more complicated. We're going to do a quick jump over the dock and midair interact with that NPC, which is always fun. And then now we have turtle time. The turtle game is pretty simple. It's all RNG based. We're just finding 6 turtles while scuba diving in the ocean here. While it is RNG based, a pretty consistent method is to just turn left immediately. And usually we get 2 to 3 turtles. Looks like our RNG wasn't super favorable. We only have 1 here. And we're gonna swim left in a circle. Hopefully we have a few more. Looks like we got 1 over here. And keep turning left. There's 1 more. And hopefully around this corner we'll get a few more. So this would kind of be considered pretty bad RNG. You want to see 2 to 3 turtles right off the bat at the start of the minigame. But like most games, most minigames in this game, even if you get bad RNG or you perform poorly during the minigame, you're not going to lose that much time. This speedrun is very forgiving. And it mostly comes down to how quickly you can memorize where you need to go, how quickly can you mash, and how quickly can you map out to the various locations. You're going to see here at the end of this minigame, it's going to ask me whether I want to change vehicles. That will happen after every minigame. I'm going to switch to the ATV really quickly because we want to stay on the dock. That'll get us faster over to this NPC,
Hi there.
where we're going to surf next. Jump over to the surfing island. And this is where our run starts to go south in terms of gameplay, because we are not going to complete this minigame the way it wants us to. We just want to get out of it as quickly as possible. This minigame wants us to surf for as long as possible, to catch a sick wave, and we are not going to do that. In fact, we're going to do absolutely nothing. This speedrun is in many ways a vacation itself from speedrunning. So here's my controller, and here we go. And that's it. Surfing is done. Amazing. So now that that is over, we are going to map back out to the marine resort. And we only have 1 more activity before heading to our next resort, which will be the city resort.
See ya!
Okay.
And again, there's a lot of mashing, so I'm sorry if you can hear my mashing through the microphone. All right, our last mini game is going to be the ATV jump. Again, this is going to want us to do a sick jump with an ATV and do a bunch of flips and tricks, as many as we can in the air before landing. But of course, we're not going to do that because that would take too much time. We are simply going to hold forward. And in fact, we're going to try to jump a little bit earlier before the actual jump so we don't get as much height either, because you maintain more speed on the ground than you do in the air. So here we go. Little jump before, and that's it. ATV done. And marine resort done. So after this, we are going to map out to the city. Now, the default vehicle in the marine resort is the jet ski you saw us flying around on, and the default vehicle in the city is going to be inline skating. So each resort has this overworld where it has a bunch of jumps and little trick areas for you to hang out in and play around with the game before even entering the mini games, which is kind of cool. So we're going to jump on our inline skates, and we're actually going to immediately map to mini golf, which is another game that we are actually going to complete as intended. We have 3 holes to complete. We're going to try to get a hole-in-one in each of them if we can. And we are going to have 3 clubs that we can use. They each vary in strength. And we're going to try to, as quickly as we can, use our bumper to move over to the strongest club. And then we're going to hit B to exit practice mode. Oops. Did not see that guy there. Sorry. And then, just like most golf games, we're just hitting A twice to push a meter up and then stop that meter when we want that correct swing strength. So here we go. That should be good. Oh, we get a little bounce off. That's fine. Nice. Hole-in-one. Hole 2 is the only one we actually have to aim. So I'm going to try to line this up. That looks good. Okay, so we'll do another stroke here with our weakest club. Nice. And then our last one's just up a hill. It's straight away again, so we're just going to switch real quick. And that should be good. Maybe bounce off again. Nope, right in. Cool. So we got 2 holes in one. That's pretty good. Now we're going to map out to the top of the city, where we're going to have 3 mini games in a row. And you'll see a little bit of traversal technique. I'm going to try my best. I'm not great at this, but usually your vehicle speed is capped. For some reason, when you're on inline skates and you are rail grinding, which you'll see in a second, if you flick the joystick back and forth as quickly as you can, sometimes you'll get a speed boost. The speed of the joystick flick is very fast, so I'm gonna, let's get on there. I'm gonna try it there, and not quite getting it. That is kind of like the one thing in this game that I could not get down. It's pretty difficult, and the speed boost is significant, so if I do happen to get it, it'll be very noticeable. I can't remember what this minigame is called. I just call it Big Blue because it reminds me of that Mario Kart map. Anybody knows what I'm talking about? But essentially, we are trying to stay in the middle of the pathway here, of the slide, get these little speed boosts, and I am pretty terrible at this minigame because the steering is atrocious. It's kind of like steering a boat. You barely turn, and it wants to send you very far. But yeah, we just want to try to stay in the middle here. One more big turn. That's pretty good. Got the speed boost. Hard turn. And then we're going to try to get a little jump here to... Oh, okay, we're not going to do that. Sometimes you can get a jump to miss that little incline there, but that's all right. Like I said before, like, you can't fly out of this slide, so even if you do really terribly, you're maybe losing like 1 to 3 seconds. It's not that much time. Very, very forgiving minigame. So we're gonna try that rail grinding technique again. I have one more chance to get it. Sometimes I do it with my other hand, because my left thumb cannot do the stick flick that fast. So we'll try it here. Okay, didn't quite get it there. One more time. Got it a little bit there at the end, but not quite. That's all right. That technique is more for like, you're going for world record, you know, it saves a second, maybe half a second or something like that. So here we got paragliding. Again, we're not going to do this as intended. The game wants us to fly through all those rings, but we don't care about that. It's a pretty straight flight path, so we're just kind of setting up ourselves for the final turn to the right. So just making sure that we get the right height. And we'll do a final turn right around there. And you can actually see the wheel sliders that the minigame we just did. So one of the cool things about this game is it tries to keep the world coherent. So in a lot of the minigames, you'll see the overworld, the areas that you traverse in it, which I appreciate. I think it's a nice touch to the game. And that's paragliding. We got one more minigame in this area. It's going to be a rail grind. The game wants you to use the joystick, moving left and right to keep your balance for as long as possible. Again, that's not fast, so we're not going to do that. We're going to jump on and jump off as quickly as possible. Let's see if we got the RNG elephant. Oh, we did. Usually there's an elephant there. Sometimes it's RNG dependent. The NPCs in the world are RNG, so sometimes they're there, sometimes they're not. All right, let's do the rail grind here. Grind master. Jump on real quick and just hold left, and that's it. Easy peasy. And now we're gonna map out to the bottom of the map again. We'll have 3 kind of quick, and not so quick, but 3 more mini games to complete before heading to the final resort, the snow resort.
Cool.
All right.
This way.
Lots of mashing. Now this next mini game, I think it's just called the ball game, and I like to think of it as the 7th inning stretch of this whole run, because you don't do anything. You literally don't do anything, and it's like a minute long. But yeah, I'm literally just gonna put the remote down, or the controller down for a bit. And I'll use the time to kind of explain. We're about to go to the snow resort, and that's where the mapping gets a little more interesting. Essentially, like I said before, the game is asking us after every minigame whether we want to change vehicles or not. It'll also do that every time we map to a different location. And the snow resort has a lot of both of those. It has the most minigames and also the most mapping sequences. And the game seemingly chooses at random when it resets you to the default vehicle, which in the snow resort would be your skis, but we want to be in the snowmobile, which is a faster vehicle. So the entire snow resort sequence is very much about remembering exactly after each minigame and after each warp to a new location when you have to change vehicles or not. And again, sometimes it resets to the default, sometimes it doesn't. So you just have to memorize the entire sequence when you're changing vehicles or when you're not. And it can lose you a lot of time if you accidentally click on skis or snowboard. It's much, much slower, and you'll have to map out again to get onto the snowmobile. So hopefully I've memorized it enough. It can be confusing though when you're focusing on one game and then you are mashing a lot in this game and you accidentally hit the snowboard. You're like, no. Anyways, that was the ball game. I hope you enjoyed that. Amazing bit of gameplay. We are going to head just to our right to the baseball game. And you'll see I knocked into that NPC earlier in the overworld. It sends us into a pretty long stun animation. So if there's any NPCs here, we're going to try to avoid them.
What's that?
Even though it's funny to hit them sometimes with a vehicle, it does stun us for a while and can put you in a pretty bad path. So this is a baseball game. The game wants us to hit the baseball as hard as we can through those boards in front of us. We are going to try to hit foul balls just like that, swinging as early as possible. If I miss, that's also fine, but we just don't want to hit it forward because it puts us into a long cutscene that shows it from different angles, like hitting the baseball through the boards. So just trying to get as many foul balls as possible. And again, like that, if I miss, that's totally fine. A foul ball saves maybe, you know, a few milliseconds or something. Rocky ball here. Nice. Cool. This is our last one. That was a little close, but we got through it. My depth perception is not great, so I could never tell during this minigame if the pitches are being thrown at different speeds or not. But hey, we got through it. There's one more minigame in the city resort, then we head to the snow resort. And that minigame is a punching minigame. I can't remember actually what it's called. It's essentially just a punching bag. We're trying to build up a meter and punch at the right time to get the maximum amount of points. But of course, we're not going to do that because we want to finish it fast. So we are just going to punch immediately and try to get out of this minigame as quickly as possible. Power Boxer, that's what it's called. Okay. So for this, I'm just mashing A and I'm flicking the joystick back and forth as fast as possible just to immediately punch. You can see you're supposed to build up that meter all the way to like the red area to get a high score, but we don't like doing that. There's also the funny thing about this game is no matter if you fail or you win, all the NPCs in the back will be like dancing and cheering the whole time. Like they're always super happy, which can be really aggravating if you're actually trying to play the game and you're actually like not doing well at these mini games. And every time it shows the NPCs behind you just smiling and cheering. But anyways, we're gonna head to the snow resort now. Snow resort is very cool. It's probably my favorite. Let's map out of there in a second. And the snow resort is obviously a snow mountain. The mapping is split into different ski routes that are all numbered. So when I was learning this, I was just memorizing the numbers to go to, the numbers to map to. And then also memorizing like that, all that vehicle stuff I mentioned before, when I should be switching vehicles or not. First, we're going to go to 14. Switch to snowmobile. You can see it's 2 bumper presses, so that's why it's a little trickier to get to than it is in the other resorts. Because if you happen to accidentally press 3 times or you don't press 2 times and then you hit A, then you're on a snowboard and that's no good. So I'm going to take it a little bit slower just to make sure that we keep it safe. This is moguls. I'm just... Oh my gosh. The point of this game is to kind of lean left and right to go over the moguls, and then I'm trying to brake before that jump there, because again, staying on the ground is faster than being in the air. And that is our moguls. Now we're going to map out to 6. And we're going to change our vehicle again. It's going back to the default ski, so we're going to change it again to the snowmobile.
This way.
Alright. 1, 2. 1, 2. Nice. Here we have the ski race. Now we're not going to be racing against NPCs. We're just trying to pass through all of the flags correctly. Again, we're not going to do that because that's not fast. We are going to try to take the straightest line possible through this course, and we are also going to try to minimize our airtime as much as possible. So it's kind of unavoidable. There's a lot of jumps in this course, but we're going to try to keep that airtime as low as possible. So we're just hugging this corner. You're going a little bit on the right side here because there's some smaller jumps. And then this next jump is unavoidable, but I want to kind of pass through that gate, miss that hill there. And now we're just taking a pretty straight path to the finish. Let's see if I can thread the needle twice here. Through this little gap. Okay, that's one. Thread the needle one more time. Oh my gosh. No. That's alright. And we finished. Here's an example of where the vehicle stuff gets annoying. So we're going to do another minigame in this area before mapping, but we are going to be reset to the skis, so we need to reset our vehicle to the snowmobile before moving on. And this is also where the routes differ a little bit, which I'll talk about in a second. Okay, snowmobile. I'm gonna head down to ice fishing. And hopefully not hit any of these skiers. There's one skier that's usually at the bottom here. There he is. And he's always in the way. Do a little jump over that. Cool. And ice fishing. Now, ice fishing is just a mashing game. You have 8 or 9 lures, and we are just going to mash the A button the whole time to reel as quickly as possible. We don't care about actually catching any fish. And the route differs here because the higher level routes in this game go for the table hockey minigame, which is in the city, instead of this one. They're about the same time, but table hockey, you can save a few seconds if you're very good at it. Now, table hockey, you're playing with 4 NPCs, and you want to lose as quickly as possible. So it involves you hitting the puck forward, and then waiting for your opponent to hit it back to you, and then hitting it into your own goal. And it is quite difficult to get, and the score goes up to 7. Obviously, you want to try to be 0-7. You want that outcome. And any, if your partner hits it in or something like that, any point towards your team obviously lengthens that minigame. So I go for ice fishing. It's definitely like the beginner intermediate route, and it doesn't lose that much time. It's much safer. So that is what we are doing today. And dog sled, I think dog sled actually might be next. Very fortuitous of this loading screen. We're going to map to 3 now, and I don't think I have to change vehicles. I'm pretty sure. I hope. Let's see. Yes. Okay, didn't have to change there. Oh no, it's not dog sledding, sorry. It's ski jump. Ski jump is similar to our ATV jump. We're just holding forward. It uses motion controls in the air, where you kind of want to line up with the wind and make sure your body's in a good position, but again, we don't care about that. You can look in the background now and you can see the base of the resort that we were at in the beginning and all the different little hills we've been skiing on, which is kind of cool. And that is our ski jump. And we have one more minigame here before mapping out again. And after mapping out this time, we will not have to change vehicles for the rest of the run, which is great. And again, I have no idea why it does that. The game just at some point decides, yeah, we're not going to make you switch vehicles anymore. But that works for me. And our next mini game, I believe, is the ski park, or the trick park. It's a little area with a bunch of jumps and rails to grind on and all that kind of stuff. It wants you to get as many points as possible by completing a lot of cool tricks before crossing the finish line. And as I'm sure you can tell by now, we're not going to do that. We are going to sadly ski around all of these obstacles and head straight for the finish. You can also see me pushing my skis there. I think it only takes like 3 pushes to get up to max speed, and then it's you're kind of capped at that speed, so it's faster just to not push anymore and just hold your ski poles. And that is the ski park. Now we're going to be mapping out to 7, which now I think is the dog sled. This will be our last time switching vehicles.
You're amazing! This way.
Oh, more dialogue. Yes. Okay, so now after this, we should not have to switch vehicles anymore, so we can just pretty much mash through all those dialogue boxes again without fear. This is dog sledding. This is one we do want to perform well out because obviously the faster we finish, faster time we get. It's a little like the rail grinding thing where the turning is really touchy. And so you'll see me, we want to mash here to encourage our doggo to go fast. And then you'll see me just kind of tapping left and right, the opposite direction of where we are turning to keep the sled in balance. And that is the name of the game, just trying to keep the sled balanced as much as possible. We're just tapping. If you hold left or right, it'll tip you the other way. So yeah, I'm just seeing when that sled is starting to tip and just tapping left and right a little bit. Gotta encourage our doggo to go fast. Got some tight turns here. And this next one is a huge turn to the right, so I'm gonna preemptively hold right. That was pretty good. Keep tapping, and then this is our last mashing sequence. Encouraging our little doggo. And off we go to the finish. I think that was a pretty good time. I think that might have been my best time, honestly. Usually I'm at like 103.66, so nice. Alrighty. That was 7. Now we're mapping out to 5. And then our final map out to the base of the mountain. And if you're wondering, I don't think it really matters what order you do this mapping in. I just copied what I saw other speedrunners do. But I don't think it really affects your time that much. This is our snowmobile jump, same as the ATV. We're just going to hold forward. We don't care about doing any tricks or flips or anything like that. And I'll use this time just to quickly explain something about our last minigame is going to be snowman making. Yeah. So you make a snowman, you decorate him and stuff like that. The snowmen are a little weird. They are global. I think there's like 6 or 7 in total. And whenever you make one, it'll stay that way throughout all of your save files, even if you delete a save file. So before I actually got live here and started this run, I went and made sure to delete the appropriate amount of snowmen so that there will be space available to build a new one when we get to that minigame. Because it will waste time for us to have to break a snowman to build one, so it's a little bit of some weird prep you have to do before each run. Alright, and now we are on to the last 2 minigames. This next one is Snow Fight. It's just a snowball fight. And the key here is obviously we're trying to hit our opponents with snowballs, but every time you hit someone, they enter a few seconds of immunity. So a lot of it is running around waiting for your opponent's immunity to wear off, and then throwing at the correct time. And we have a certain amount of snowballs here, and we can reload essentially our snowballs by pressing B. Ooh, get him. Oh, sniped across the map, let's go. Oh, this is pretty good so far. Reload a little bit. Okay, they're almost done. I think it's just the yellow one I need to get. There we go. That was pretty good. And just so you know, this is what happens if you get hit by too many snowballs. You turn into a snowball. So just remember that next time you get into a snowball fight with someone. And we are, if I've done everything correctly, we are on to our final game here. Snowman making I mentioned. So we'll build a beautiful little snowman. We get to decorate him. It's going to be so amazing. And it should be just around the corner. Dash through our final dialogue, hopefully. Whoa. Okay. There's... Oh my gosh. Whoops. So you can see what I was talking about. You know, if you hit something, it really sends you off your path. Okay, snowman making. So I pre-broke 2 snowmen. They should be right in front of us. So I will be able to run directly to them like this. Stack one. Stack our second one. Whoop. There we go. And then we're going to accessorize. And we're going to decorate him. Actually, we're done. And that's it. There's our snowmen. And if we've done everything correctly, we should be unlocking our villa in a second. If we get a dialogue box, that's a good thing. And time will be up when the final loading screen fades into our villa. So I'll give you a heads up when that is. But hopefully we have a dialogue box here. If not, we can do a backup game. That is totally fine. But hopefully that's 20. Yes, so this should be good. So when this loading screen fades, that will be our time. And time, yay! That is Villa Percent for Go Vacation. Thanks for watching. Thanks for having me, Speedromizer. This is really a fun speed run to learn because I had a lot of stuff that I've never had to do before, like the mapping. And yeah, a pretty easy speed run to learn as well. So if you need a vacation from speedrunning, check it out. Yep, that's it.